Hi, this is Janet from Try It Like It Created, and today I want to show you how to work with type, specifically cursive type, in Design Space. So what I'm going to do is select the type key, get ready to type, and the font I'm going to choose is going to be a Cricut font, and it's called Alexis Maddox Emma Ray. So I'm going to click on that and type in the word cursive. Now you can see as it is typed that it is not touching, or the letters are not touching each other. And so what I want to do here is join those together. I'm going to enlarge my screen a little bit just so you can see what I'm working on. And when you click on the plus and minus down at the bottom left of your screen, that only enlarges your view. It is not changing the size of what you are creating. So what I've got here is the letters cursive, and I can easily use my letter spacing up here at the top and just click the down arrow and those letters will move over. And so what I'm looking is to get them to touch or join up correctly. And you can see here that the S, let's see, the S and the I and the V are working together well. The S and the R is working well, but I still have some that are off. And if I keep doing that, pushing the down arrow for the letter spacing, you will see that I start to make other corrections, and then I'm losing some connections as well. So I'm going to stop here and go over and click on the advanced setting, and I'm going to say to ungroup to letters. Now what that does is it gives me control over each individual letter, and I can slide it back and forth. Okay, I'm going to hit the undo button or Command Z on my computer so that I can get back to where I was. So now we can see here that the S is slightly off from the R, and I'm just going to shift that over a little bit until it lines up correctly. Okay, and then same with the I, it needs to scoot over a little and touch that, and the V needs to scoot over, and now finally the E needs to scoot over. Alright, so that looks pretty good to me. For some reason the C looks like a much smaller letter, and I would like it to line up with the others, so I'm going to do a little trick here, just slide it over out of the way for a minute, and I'm going to unlock it, and then I'm going to enlarge it by using the green arrow key. So I'm just going to stretch that out a little bit and maybe down just a bit and lock it back in place, and then line it up with my letters. Okay, this is looking better to me. Now the other thing I want to point out to you is that on most fonts, the baseline, that's what the letters sit on. When you have a curved letter, like this part of the S right here, it dips down below that imaginary line. So if I enlarge this a little bit more so that you can see the screen here, and if you can see the grid line that it's sitting on, the V, which is a flat bottom, is actually sitting on it, and the curved letters are hanging down a little bit below that line, and that is how most fonts typically work. So now that I have this all lined up and touching correctly, I can see that my I needs to scoot over just a little bit more to be with it. Okay, that's better. Now I'll move the V over just a smidge and the E over. Alright, now that's looking better. So what I'm going to do now is with my mouse, I'm going to draw an imaginary box around everything, or select all. You can do that up at the top, select all. And if you notice over on my layers palette, on the far right, I have each individual letter there. And it will cut each individual letter. So meaning that where they connect, there's actually going to be a cut line through that, and I don't want it. I want it to be all attached. And so what I'm going to do here is go to the bottom of my screen. It might be off of the video, but at the bottom you have control for weld, and I'm going to click on weld. Now watch what happens on the layers palette. It changes from those individual letters and it changes to one cut file, and so it just connected everything together. And what I'm seeing here is that my S and R are slightly off, and I'm not sure why. So I'm going to undo that move with a Command Z on my keypad, and I am seeing that those are lined up pretty well here. Not sure why it wasn't working, but I will, let's see if I can move that guy over and line him up just a little bit better. Alright, I'm going to try this again with the weld, and it's being finicky for me, but I know that those are all now attached. So hopefully, let me go back to 100% of what I'm cutting. Yeah, that's a little bothersome, and I would probably want to cut it out and see how that worked. But for this demonstration, I think it shows you well enough how to adjust your letters and to connect your letters together. So I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please click the like button. I appreciate the page views, and I would love for you to follow my page for further Design Space tutorials as well as craft tutorials. So I hope to see you in a future video. Thanks.